Within the Florida Everglades resides a memorial of a bygone era. This isn't a motionless piece of stone or a plaque that is overlooked by those passing by, but rather a living thing, one that has personality and seems to give breath. This relic is steam locomotive number 148. Today, the locomotive has a very busy day ahead of it, as it will be leading the Santa Express Special out of the town of Sebring. 148 will be leading multiple runs through the Florida countryside. Passengers aboard will be enjoying a 2-hour experience on the rails within historic passenger cars, along with visits with Santa Claus and plenty of food to enjoy. It's an hour and a half before departure, and we find our fireman of the day, Charlie, servicing the locomotive and making final inspections. 148 is a 462 Pacific-type locomotive. Built over 104 years ago in 1920, 148 was originally ordered by the Florida East Coast. The locomotive was among an order of 10 light-class Pacifics, labeled as the Class 141s. Once the American Locomotive Works had completed its construction, it would be charged with passenger and freight service throughout the state of Florida. While it would traverse between the major cities of Miami and Jacksonville, this specific type also would operate on the Overseas Railroad, the FEC extension into Key West before its destruction in 1935. The aftermath of the deadly hurricane would cause the FEC to scrap or sell many of its steam roster, in an attempt to gain any funding. Somehow, the 148 was spared from the torch and would continue its service several more years. Eventually, like every other road, the days of steam on the FEC were numbered. 148, along with a few other locomotives, would be sold to the U.S. Sugar Corporation in 1952. Here it would haul sugarcane from the harvest fields to the mills spread out along the USSC system. The clock has struck 11 a.m., and 148 sounds off the double blast whistle and eases its way out of Sebring, putting on a thrilling display of steam power for the locals. One 148 would eventually see its retirement from revenue service in the 1960s. Like many steam locomotives, it would find itself in tourist line service. The Pacific type would change hands multiple times for running and display purposes. Finally, in 2016, U.S. Sugar would reacquire the locomotive for a full overhaul on the Sugar Express. In about 4 years, the restoration would be complete thanks to the hard work of several parties, and that puts us where we are today. 148 consistently pulls passenger specials across the U.S. Sugar Rail network, gaining the spotlight from the local population as well as rail fans across the country. U.S. Sugar has grown into a substantial agriculture business. It makes up around 10% of all sugar production within the country. It has over 260,000 orange trees and also makes up half of Florida's sweet corn crop. With over 230,000 acres of farmlands, USSC utilizes its railroad to transport raw sugarcane from the fields to the market. The privately owned railway interchanges with Class 1 giant CSX, as well as Regional Road FEC, the original operator of 148. On the south side of Lake Placid, the 148 is seen stretching her legs as she cruises over Lake Mirror Drive. While we won't be seeing it here, this engine has the capabilities to reach a maximum speed of 70 miles per hour. .148's set of driver wheels measure at about 68 inches, which is somewhat on the smaller side for a Pacific type. The amount of cars that you're seeing is just about the limit for this workhorse. Currently, U.S. Sugar, partnered with FMW Solutions, is in the process of restoring Atlantic Coastline 1504, another Pacific type. Despite sharing the same wheel configuration, the 1504 will be much stronger than the 148. 148 has a significantly lower tractive effort, and truthfully is below the 1504 in just about every statistic. While I'm sure the 148 will continue to be utilized by the railroad, 1504 will add some flexibility to operations due to its greater strength. Currently, it resides in Chattanooga, Tennessee, as it undergoes an extensive rebuild. We will get one more roll by near Childs before it's time for the train to switch direction and head back to Sebring for the next run. Since there is no Y in the nearby vicinity, the return trip to Sebring will be led by diesel locomotive number 312. This is an EMD GP11. Its original operator, the Illinois Central, can be thanked for its designation, as this is one of many Paducah rebuilds. The train has arrived back to Sebring, where passengers will disembark and a new set will climb aboard for the next run. I really hope that you've enjoyed this video on the U.S. Sugar number 148. This is an absolutely gorgeous locomotive, and I'm already wanting to return to U.S. Sugar in the future, whether it's to document freight operations or the return of 1504. But who knows, time will tell. Until the next time, my friends, I'll be seeing you somewhere out there along the rails, and as always, thanks for watching.